everybody, Hafriz Shah again, and yes, it's yet another video on the Proton X70 SUV. By now you must be thinking, man, Proton must be paying Paul Tan a lot of money for all this. But nope, man, we got one for my family. We got a grand total discount of 0. Didn't even get a free umbrella. Well, anyway, we are here in Langkawi, the Pearl of Kedah, to test drive the new Proton because they brought us here to experience it more in a nice setting. So we're gonna start with the red car. You know, I'm gonna match my jacket. So yeah, sun's up, let's get it. So by now, you know, there's not much you don't know about the Proton X70. We've published like maybe 10 videos on this car already, right? So we're going down the hill. Gunung Raya is the top, the peak of the Langkawi Island, and the road is actually pretty fun. It's pretty tight and it's downhill. So in a regular Proton, you'd be having a lot of fun, but the X70, it's, well, to me, it's hardly a Proton. So it's not to say that this car's handling is bad, it's just not fun. It's not what you expect from a regular Proton. So the steering is very, very slow. It's, you know, there's no feedback whatsoever. And that's more to do with the fact that this is a Geely Boyer rather than an actual Proton SUV. So the chassis tuning for this thing, it's 100% from China. Of course, there have been some involvement from Proton R&D when it comes to converting from left-hand drive to right-hand drive. But as for the suspension tuning, the steering, that is still purely Geely. The Proton input is going to come in more for the CKD version, which will come out, you know, towards the end of the year. So that one will be, hopefully, will be slightly more fun to drive. But then again, this is an SUV, you know. It's not the kind of car you drive up and down mountains to have fun. It's the kind of car where the destination is more important than the journey. So in that sense, this car is fine. It's competent, it's very comfortable, and yeah, going downhill, I'm leaving it in sport mode. I'm driving without putting it into a manual mode because that's not something I like to do. This car also does not have pedal shifters, but again, it's one of those things to me that you know, you'll use maybe 5 times throughout your whole entire ownership experience. It's like the sunroof. You know, when are you ever going to use that in Malaysia? It's so hot right now. Even in Langkawi, even at this peak, you know, yeah, it's not helping that I'm wearing a jacket, but yeah, gaya mesti ada, right? But having said that, the handling is perhaps the only, well, mediocre part of this car. Everything else about X70 is at least above average, and for the most part, it's fantastic. This is a car that I remember starts from under 100,000 ringgit, and even the standard model has everything. You know, if you buy a basic car from most other brands, you'll probably get polyurethane steering wheel, a gear knob that feels like it came off an Asia. And for the Proton X70, you don't feel that way. The steering is covered in leather. Well, it's not as nice leather as the one in the premium, of course, but it's still leather. The gear knob is the same. The seats are fabric, but it's good quality fabric, and that's a good thing. And the main display screen is the exact same one that you get in the premium car. You know, you don't feel shortchanged at all. If people jump into your car, it doesn't shout out that you've bought the cheap variant. And if you go to the premium model like this one here, this is 123,800 ringgit. You get pretty much everything you need and everything you don't, like, you know, sunroof again. Yeah, it's just me. I don't really like sunroofs in Malaysia, but yeah, for whatever reason, all my 3 cars have them. Anyway, let's keep moving on. The equipment list include automatic headlamps with automatic high beam control, and that's something that most premium cars don't actually offer except for the top variants, and you get that on a Proton. You know, how cool does that sound? You also get automatic wipers, you get powered front seats, both driver and front passenger, plus, you know, these fancy boss seats over there. So if you've got a boss sitting in the back, they've got, you know, not enough leg room, they can, you know, push the front passenger seat forward whether or not there's a person sitting in front there. Plus, you've also got a big touchscreen, you know, and that has integrated navigation with traffic control, and you know, that's something that you don't get in, well, pretty much anything else. There's a lot of things that you will actually use, such as dual zone climate control and an integrated air ionizer. If you buy a Mercedes-Benz, you know, unless you buy the top-end versions, you won't even get it. And only Volvos have it as standard on most of their cars. And again, that's where most people will sort of tie in the Geely Proton Volvo connection. This car doesn't actually have any Volvo parts in it. And if your sales advisor says that this car is based on an X70, the guy's lying. But you know, the brand association probably helps Proton more. Now, I'm not going to say the Proton X70 is a premium product, because it definitely is not. I mean, it's priced to be a mass market car after all. But when you drive it, when you sit in it, it does actually feel like, you know, a premium car. To me, it has better specs, better build quality than certain true blue premium cars. This definitely has a better interior compared to a Mercedes-Benz GLA. In that car, you can go down to the plastics at the bottom here. It will feel very brittle, very nasty, scratchy plastics. Over here, you will find harder plastics compared to the top plastic here, where it's all soft touch. But even the nastiest bits of the plastics here are better than the ones in the Mercedes-Benz GLA. I'm not saying that just for the heck of it, because you know me, I love Mercedes-Benzes. I drive one myself. So yeah, I guess I have the right to say that, don't I? Even beyond equipment, even beyond build quality, this is still an impressive piece of kit. When you drive it, the first thing that you'll notice is just how quiet it is. You know, you are now used to Protons that are very loud, with the CVTs that whine so loud when you press the accelerator, but not this one. This one is extremely quiet. The 6-speed automatic, it's an automatic, not a CVT, thank God. It does have a little bit of a low speed whine. You'll notice it when you drive through very slow traffic in town, but as the speeds rise, you won't hear it at all. And then you will find that this car's refinement, the NVH, is actually very, very good. If anything, it's way above the whatever you find in the same class. I'm talking about the CR-Vs and even the Mazda CX-5. CX-5 actually has extremely good NVH, but this, I think, beats even that. That especially is going to be very hard to believe, very hard to swallow for those who do not like the Proton brand. You know, we've been doing videos about the Proton for a while now, and we've been getting a lot of nasty comments, right? Those who absolutely hate, those who absolutely detest the Proton brand. And when we say it's actually good, they'll be like, you know, that can't be true. You guys must be paid. That cannot be true. I refuse to believe that it's true. But all you have to do is go to the showroom, take a 10-minute test drive, and then you come back to us and let us know whether you still believe what you choose to believe. Next thing that's very impressive is the way this car rides. Langkawi does not have the best of roads. Well, you can say that for the entire country actually. But, you know, we've driven this car back to back against most of its rivals, namely the Honda CR-V. And the CR-V does have softer suspension, but this has a lot more composed ride and handling. In the CR-V, when you go on a highway, you take a small little, you know, curve on the highway, the entire car just rocks, and it's, you know, a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you're sitting in the back. You get thrown around left and right, and for kids, that can be a little bit queasy, especially if you're not used to high-speed travel. With this one, again, it's a tall car, so you do sit high. Your center of gravity is a bit higher than a normal car, so you do get thrown around a little bit, but it's a lot more controlled manner compared to the Honda. So now we're in the back of the X70, and like I said before, this is a proper premium experience. The leather is nice and smooth. It's actually better than the one in my car, but don't tell Mercedes that. And in any case, you know, you get your proper rear aircon vents, you get this nice boss seats. Yeah, that's my actual, you know, previous boss, but yeah, never mind. There you go. You need extra space, just push a simple button and you get to have, you know, a little bit more leg room. Yeah, fantastic. These are the things that you get in very high-end cars. Other than the Toyota Camry, it's available in things like the S-Class and the 7 Series, things like that. But unlike the proper premium cars, you do not get controls for things like the sunshade, the sunroof, and the, you know, the radio up ahead. But that's what High Proton is for, right? You can just shout up ahead, "High Proton, close the sunshade, please."
What's up? Okay, closing the sunroof.
There you go. Sweet. Another interesting fact, you can use specific Malay terms for High Proton. You can say, "High Proton, saya panas," and the car will turn up the aircon to the maximum, which is great, right? One last thing is Proton Link. It's a special app on your phone, and I've got it hooked up to my dad's car, and you can see, you know, I've got how much fuel is left, how much data is left. This is Proton's 1 GB per month quota. There's also a car tracker, so you can see exactly where the car is. So right now, my dad's car is at home at 2:30. I guess he's not working. Anyway, one last thing that's also quite dangerous. There's the entire trip log, which I can see. So yeah, apparently this morning at 7:34, he went from his house to somewhere in Kampung Kerinci. Yeah, so if you're having an affair, do not drive this car. Before we finish, here's a quick demonstration of the forward collision warning system. Coming in about 65. There you go. The car will give you a fair warning so that, you know, if it detects you're going to come into a crash. But the thing is, the warning can be a little bit too soft. And one last thing is autonomous emergency braking, or AEB. As you can see, the car brakes really hard. Inside, it's quite an alarming feature, but it's safety, so it's all good.
Do you hear it? Yeah. That's it.
I was the back first.
Yeah.
And then so there you go, Proton X70 SUV. Lovely car, even better view. What's not to like, right? So by now, I think you pretty much know everything there is to know about this car. If there's anything you want to know still, comment below and we'll try to answer you as best we can. For now, thank you for watching, and I need to get out of this jacket, it's so hot.